sharing our screen. Okay. So we have talked about different methods or techniques for teaching vocabulary. We talked about using tables and the charts, and I think it's very common with us. We all do this in our classes. We try to draw some tables for word families like food, like transportation, and so on. Also, sometimes we use charts and circles and diagrams to teach you vocabulary. So let's see together different kinds and techniques and methods for teaching vocabulary. And of course, I'll show you, inshallah, some videos, some useful and easy videos to how to teach a vocabulary, okay? I hope you like them, inshallah. So here again, charts and tables, network or cluster diagrams. And network is very famous with us inside our classes. When we draw a net on the board, we write a word in the middle and we draw some lines in different directions and ask the learners to tell us about this word. For example, we write school. The children try to think of like a pencil, pen, desk, teacher, table, classroom, playground, and so on. Also, we have lexical notebooks, and as Mr. Ahmed has mentioned, when the students or the learners try to write the rhyming words, maybe using with short vowels or long vowels. For example, with long A, with short A like had, bat, mat, fat. With long A like cake, make, take, fake, stake, and so on. Also, we have Venn diagram and word cards and clients or skills. Let's see together. Here is an example. Here is, if you can see, this is a diagram. For each new word, you can write the word, its definition, and it's part of a speech. So here, if you focus here, or if you look carefully, here is the word cold. Here is a picture. So again, the use of the flashcards is very effective. Part of a speech, adjective, synonym, another word with the same meaning, chilly. Antonym, the opposite, is hot. Definition, a low temperature. Example sentence, it's very cold today. So I think using diagrams can be very effective and very beneficial if we try to use the diagram in a way on a way like this. Writing the word, putting or sticking a flashcard to show the meaning of the word without any use of the Arabic language or the mother tongue. Showing the student, the learners, if they are, of course, higher level learners or adults, like maybe starting from grade 5 to secondary, the part of speech, is it a noun, a verb, or an adjective? The synonym, what another meaning of the word cold, like chilly. Antonym, the opposite, and of course the definition. And the most important idea I like here is giving example in a sentence or in a context, as Ms. Sahar has mentioned earlier. Okay, so here, for each new word, you can write the word, its definition, and its part of a speech. Noun, verb, adjective, adverb. It can also be a good idea to write a synonym. It's very important to add to and enrich the students or the learners' vocabulary. A word or phrase that means the same. An antonym is a word that means the opposite, or even draw a picture that shows the meaning of the word. It's definitely useful to write an example sentence using the word. Okay, can you tell me why is it important to write the word in a sentence? Why is it important to write a sentence of the word? Not only write the word or use a flashcard only or to show the part of a speech. Why writing a sentence or why giving an example?
Will be easy to remember.
Yeah, exactly. It will be easy to remember. Every day we hear a lot of vocabulary. We only remember the words we heard in a sentence, especially if the sentence is near to our real life or or related to our life, not only just watching some pictures or watching some or reading or rehearsing some words, but also reading the words or taking an example. It will be more memorable for us as the brain remembers the words and sentences, not in isolation. That's it, Mr. Ahmed. Thank you so much. So
Also,
here,
Mr. Dos,
Yes,
Miss
Samia, go
Firdaus,
ahead.
sorry for interruption, Miss Firdaus. I think also it's important for the learners to know the components of the sentence, like where is the subject, where is the verb, and where is the object, to
Yeah,
know the
exactly.
components of the sentence. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
And also when we give examples or we put the vocabulary in sentences, we develop the writing skill, the reading, of course, and the writing skill. When the students or the learners read the sentence, so the more they read, the more they will be writers in the future, of course, and the more they will be good at writing. So it's very important. The more skills and the more methods and techniques we try to use with our learners and train them on them, they will be more professional and fluent at using the language. And this is very important. When we were young learners, we were familiar with the fact that all the time the teacher is writing some vocabulary on the board. They are isolated without giving examples, without giving definitions. So easy come, easy go. We repeat and forget. We repeat and forget. But if you try to ask your learners to put the word in a sentence or try to give an example, it will be more memorable and it will be related to their life. They will never forget it, as Mr. Ahmed has mentioned. Okay, so this is how to use the word record. And I like this idea. We can, from time to time, we can erase or rub the word and write another word and stick a flashcard. And we can ask the learners themselves and encourage them and ask them to refresh their minds. Is it a noun or a verb? Can you give a synonym if they are higher levels, of course? Can you give an antonym or an opposite? Can you give a definition, please? What is the meaning of hot, for example? What is the meaning of apple? What's an apple, for example, if they are to try to speak and use the language easily? Can you put it in a sentence? If you try to apply it with your learners from very early and young stages, I think they will be familiar with it and they will be skillful at the different four language skills. Okay, so this is how to use the word course. Here is another example. If you notice or look here, this can help to arrange and organize ideas based upon a central topic. For example, if I ask you or if I told you about this picture, if I write food in the middle, what can come up into your minds quickly? Can you say, I need each one of you to say just one word, food. If I say
Chicken, rice,
chicken, yeah, yeah. What else?
rice,
Rice, what else? Think of a word about food quickly. What
meat,
else? Meat, salad, bread. What else?
fish,
Fish, yeah, sure. I like fish. What else? Yeah, what else? Try to think of a word about food. Food. What else? Don't
apples,
you remember?
bananas, food,
Yes,
Pizza,
apples, bananas, pizza. Yes, what else? Yes,
potatoes.
potatoes. Great. What else? So here,
koshery.
yeah,
Yes.
koshari, mahshi, مسقعة, all kinds of food. So here you can brainstorm your learners' ideas. You brainstorm the learners to think about lots and lots of words, and you can make it more specific. For example, to talk about fruits, to talk about vegetables, to talk about breakfast food, to talk about drinks, and so on. So if you notice here, as we what we did, we try to think of a lot of words or a lot of vocabulary. We can, of course, write the words we want to focus on. And as in the previous example, we can ask them after telling us the words to put it into a sentence, to tell us what part of a speech is it, to try to give the opposite if there is, or antonym if they are adjectives, for example, and so on. So here, these can help to arrange and organize ideas based upon a central topic. Using this method can help learners to easily brainstorm a theme. And this is exactly what's happened with us. Link ideas or explore a new subject. Um, After you tell me about the different kinds of food, we noticed that we talked about desserts, we talked about meat, different kinds of meat, we talked about carbohydrate food, we talked about meat food like chicken, fish, meat, and so on. So here we can also categorize the different words, and we can explore a new subject. These are great when thinking around a topic to produce and provide other words related to the new word. This can be very useful, of course, to help provide links to new vocabulary by using known words to help with association. For example, if learning the word fur links to animals that have it can be included as well as collocations and also associating it to how it feels or looks. So for example, can you mention a word, an animal with a fur? Which animal has fur? Which animal has fur? You know the meaning of the word fur? Which animals have
Cats.
fur?
Cats.
Yes, a cat. Yeah, right.
Deer.
A cat.
Also some kinds of dogs.
Yeah, some kinds
Camel.
of dogs. What else?
Deer,
Camels.
tiger.
Yeah, and so on. So how is the cat's fur feel? How does the cat's fur feel? It's soft, okay? What about the camel's fur? Is it soft or hard? So we can here ask the students to think of different adjectives, to use more than one topic, to brainstorm their ideas and change the topic according to what are we focusing on. Are we focusing on the words? Are we focusing on the colors? What color is the cat's fur, for example? If the cat is white, its fur is white, maybe it's yellow, maybe it's black, and so on. So we can develop the same word to different topics using the colors, focusing on the how does it feel? Is it hard or soft? Is it and so on, okay? So we can develop it to different kinds of words. So here, this is a network or cluster diagram. This is another technique. And this is a table, how to use table. Look at this. Here, hair, beard. We can just take it and try to ask the students to think about it. For example, look at the word woman. Does the woman have a beard? No. Does she have a mustache? No. Does she have eyelashes? Yes. Does she have eyebrows? Yes. So this is another technique to try to think and imagine the picture or the scene. How does it look like? And differentiate between different kinds. If they are people, if they are animals, try to compare and use the comparative and superlative degree. So this is another technique to use tables. And of course, these can be used to organize information associated with many words or topics and can be used to show features of words, to compare and contrast topics and evaluate information. They can also be used to show similarities and differences, of course. This is another topic of a group of words and can be used to show whether words have similar characteristics. They may be better for higher level learners if they are using the comparative or superlative degree, where accuracy becomes more important here. For example, here, if you look at the man and the woman, we can compare between them. A man has a beard, but a woman doesn't have a beard, for example. Both a man and a woman have eyelashes and eyebrows and so on, okay? So we can develop it to higher levels of students when looking at the closed vocabulary, for example, can be useful to link which part of the body it is associated with and if it's necessary and etc. Okay, so how many methods till now? How many methods do you remember? How many methods till now? The network.
3.
Yeah, 3, exactly. 3.
Diagram.
Yes, what are they? Yes, the diagram.
Diagram.
Yeah.
Network.
Yes. The network and charts and
tables.
Yeah, charts and tables, exactly. And here, this is another way also, okay, to also use diagrams in different ways, in circles, maybe and so on, or Venn tray. So here, male and female, cousin and parent, nephew, uncle, brother. So here we can also talk about the family members. What can the students learn here? They can be, or how can we use this technique? They can be used to visualize the relationship between two or three sets of words. They can also be used to compare and contrast also the characteristics of words. They are particularly good for low-level learners, and they allow them to visually see relationships between words or ideas. For example, if we are using this model with young learners, we can write, for example, apple and banana. What can the learners tell you about apples and bananas? What are apples and bananas? What do young learners can tell you about it? Apple and banana.
Fruit.
Yeah, exactly.
They're fruit.
They are fruit, exactly. What else? What else can they tell you about apple and banana else?
They can talk about colors. Colors of
Excellent.
the fruit.
Excellent. Exactly. They can tell you about a banana is yellow and an apple is red or yellow or green. That's amazing. What else? What else? If we ask young learners to put apple and banana in a sentence, what do you think they will tell you? In a simple, easy sentence about apple and banana. Try to think.
Healthy food.
Yeah, they are healthy, exactly. But only grade one. It's an apple, it's a banana. So
they can talk about their favorite fruit.
Yeah, of course. And they can use the definite articles. Yeah, the definite
I like
articles
banana.
and
I like apples.
I like apples. I like bananas. This is an apple. This is a banana. It's an apple. It's a banana. It's red. It's yellow, and so on. So you can use verb to be. You can revise definite articles and. You can use this and that. You can draw an apple, a near apple, and a 4 banana at the end of the board, and so on. So you can adapt the methods or the technique according to the vocabulary focus in your lesson. So of course, they can be used to visualize the relationship between 2 or 3 sets of words. They can also be used to compare and contrast the characteristics of words. They are particularly good for low-level learners. This is very important, as they allow them to visually see relationships between words or ideas. For example, when teaching can and can't, with apple and then I can eat an apple, I can eat a banana. But if I don't like an apple, I can't eat an apple because I don't like apples, okay? So for example, when teaching can and can't, this method can be used to show 3 people represented by 3 overlapping circles and what they can and can't do. Okay.
Can do.
Here is a question pops up into my mind. Why do we use all these shapes? Is it important to use tables, diagrams, networks, family trees? Is it important to use all these different kinds of methods? Is it important or not?
Yes.
Why is it important, Mr. Muhammad? Why?
I think when my students see this diagram, they will remember what you call visual visual memory.
Yeah,
and
exactly. Yes. We can when we use,
I think
yes.
Mr. Dos, as for the diagram, like family tree, it's very important, or it's a very helpful for the young learners. But I think the diagrams for the young learners, it's so difficult for them. But we can add some ways like real objects, like when we are talking about fruits, like banana, real objects, or carrots, or
sure.
I think
totally agree with
it's
you.
suitable for the young learners.
Sure, exactly. What about Miss Samia? If you draw a diagram on the board, you write the title fruit, and you put flashcards on the diagram and ask the learners to remember the words and try to write them next to the flashcards. Is it easy or difficult?
It's easy and facilitate the way to convey the meaning or the new vocab for the learners.
Yeah. So again, Miss Samia, we assure that there is nothing we cannot say that this is difficult for young learners or this is easy for old learners or higher level learners. It depends on the way you use it. You can use all these methods and
I
techniques
agree with you, Ms. Firdaus.
in a simple way. Okay, yes, I'm happy to hear that you agree with me. So again, we just have the idea and we try to adapt it according to the level of our learners. And as we talked in the example of the Pictionary, we talked about it's one idea to use a Pictionary with young learners. And we have talked about different ideas we can apply. Mr. Ahmed talked about the idea of sticking the pictures on the board and ask the learners to take a word card and try to stick it under the picture. We talked about dividing the class into two teams as a kind of a game, and they try to give a group of the students some pictures and the other group the word cards, and we ask them to match the right picture to the right word. This is another way. We talked about the idea of run to the board. They try to take a picture and run to the board and stick it. One student to stick a picture, and the other students with the different words try to run to the board and stick the right word to the picture. So again, Ms. Samia, we get different ideas, different methods, and different techniques, and it's our duty to think of how to apply it in different ways. We are different, we have different classes, we have different minds, we have all of us can think of or create a different idea to apply it in a different way suitable for the levels of our learners, their age, and the number of the class, of course. For example, a game can be easy with small classes. It will be easy to go and run and play. It will be difficult in larger classes, for example. It can be easy for larger classes to listen and repeat, to point, to stand up, try to remember or spell the words. So again, it depends on the number of your class. It depends on the level of the children and their age, of course. So again, we have to try to find a suitable way to use these different methods and apply it with our different learners. And another thing, which is when we try to vary these methods and techniques, we meet the individual differences. This is what I want to draw your attention to. When we try to draw some pictures on the board, we try to use diagrams, we try to use tables, we try to let them listen and repeat, to watch some flashcards or watch some videos. We meet their individual differences and we deal with all the different intelligences. Ms. Samia likes watching or visualizing things. Mr. Ahmed likes listening to words, his audio. He learns by listening and repeating. Ms. Noah is spatial. She likes drawing and writing issues and so on. So it's very important to vary the methods and techniques and try to think of different ideas to meet the different individual differences. This is one point. And the other point is to meet the different intelligences, to involve all the students and learners to use the language. And this is the main target, how to use the language, how to recycle the vocabulary, how to communicate together. And we stressed on the idea of trying to put the word into a sentence. Why? Why is it important to put the word into a sentence? Why is it important? To memorize it easily, to relate it to their life, to use the language. Okay, Ms. Samia, got it? Do you agree with me?
Yes, Ms. Firdaus.
Okay.
I have an idea that comes in my mind.
Great.
For example, when I was teaching a lesson about what's your favorite sport, just one student or one learner asked me, Miss Samia, my favorite sport is bowling. So at the time, the supervisor was sitting and watching the strategies of the lesson. So I put in a critical position. So I will try to draw on the board, but the students can't understand what is Miss Samia drawing on the board. They can't understand. I think the best way for for this to convey the idea
Problem?
or the meaning of the
For
words.
example, yeah. No
Like
problem at all. No problem.
okay,
Yeah.
no, one of the students, Miss Tanya, I have a poll. So then some others or others, Miss Tanya, you can take some flasks in the. So we put the flask in the middle of the class, and then
Great.
I asked one of the students to come out in the front of the class, and then to kick the ball to fall down some of the flags. So
Yeah.
at the end of the lesson, the student or the students understood the meaning of the bullying game here.
Yeah. That's
But
great.
but I think that it's a critical position.
No
I
problem
put in
at
it
all. It happens. No problem at all.
in front of my supervisor.
No, no problem at all. You're creative and your learners are really creative. They thought about how to solve the problem and they really did it. They really did it. And I can tell you a secret. All my students are my friends. Sometimes when I'm in a critical situation like this, I can ask the learners, can you draw a picture of bullying? Who plays bullying? You can find some of them likes
They
bullying.
can't understand. They can't understand.
You
I
can
will try
translate in
to.
Arabic, no problem at all.
Yes.
By the way, it's acceptable to tell them or translate in Arabic if they don't understand the meaning. It's not something bad or something embarrassing at all. Even the native speakers, if they are teaching, for example, English and they are Spanish, they can translate it into their mother tongue. No problem at all. Take it easy and feel free to use all techniques. And as the proverb says, all roads lead to Rome. كل الطرق توصل إلى روما. No problem at all. If it's very difficult for them to use the mother tongue or use Arabic, no problem at all. دي يا أولاد لعبة البولينج in a simple way. Don't feel embarrassed or shy or in a critical situation at all. And when you translate it, you'll find lots of them can draw a picture or can you tell you how to play it or and so on. Okay, so you're really creative and your learners as well, Miss Tanya. Thank you so much. Okay, here is another technique, which is timeline. And in which part of the language do we use the timelines, my dear friends? Do you know? We use it sometimes or most of the time with grammar, but in fact, we can use it also with vocabulary. If you see here you can draw the bus stop. Here is interesting and boring, different. You can use different adjectives. You can ask the students about the different places in their city or in their town and ask them which places are interesting to visit or to go to, and which places are boring or you feel bored when you visit them or when you go to them. Okay, so this is another technique, drawing a timeline or drawing a line on the board. This method can be useful to helping to rank or order words from interesting to boring. Maybe you can use the adjectives expensive and cheap. You can write cars, a car, a taxi, or taxi, bus, train, plane, and you can write, for example, expensive, cheap, and you ask the learners to tell you a sentence about which are the cheapest, which are the most expensive, which is cheaper, which is more expensive, and so on. So here you can draw a line and ask them to use different adjectives or to use comparative or superlative and so on. Maybe you can write is and was. For example, is, taxi, bus, train, was, metro, and court. So they can tell you there was, for example, using there is and there was. There was a cart in the past. There is a car in the present. There was a metro in the past, for example, or there was a train in the past. There is a bus in the present, and so on. So you can, again, adapt to the technique or the method according to the vocabulary you want to focus on and according to the students, their levels and their age, of course. The scale, this is this is called the scale. Okay, this method is called the scale. You can draw a line with different other lines, and you can write different adjectives and different vocabulary. The scale can represent ideas such as big to small or old to young. For factual ordering, you can use scales for like to dislike or good to bad to show your own opinions. These are great for relating to language on a personal level, how much you like something, for example. They enable you to look at language in a different way. So when looking at groups or of words, they can consider ideas for how to categorize them. This personalization can help when later recalling words. So this is another technique. Can you remember how many techniques or methods till now? The first was what? The first was, do you remember? Easy peasy, think it easy. Try to remember diagrams, tables, networks, scales. Oh, do you remember? Okay, don't be lazy, please. Here, clients or scales. And here is another technique, which is writing the word or having a dictionary, not dictionary. Here is the word what's called for a review, go on and so on. Here is this is different form of a vocabulary notebook. And I think some of us, or maybe most of us, can ask the learners to have a scrapbook or a sketch and write the words and stick the pictures. This is the simplest way. We can develop it. This is different from a vocabulary notebook where learners write new words in alphabetical order alongside native language translation. The idea behind this method is to organize new words and phrases in a way that closely resembles the way they occur in the real language. How can we use a way like this, a notebook? If you ask your learners to bring a notebook for vocabulary, how will you ask them to produce or recycle the language? If you ask them to bring a notebook, are you still there? Or am I in a desert?
Yes, yes.
Alhamdulillah. Thank
Alhamdulillah.
God.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Yes. Go ahead.
I think that we have to enhance them to make lots of sentences with the vocabulary to remember them.
Yeah, Ismail. Yes. We can ask them to write the words with the translation. This is a way. And I think most of us do something like this. So ask the learners at the end of your notebook, at the end of, for example, in the 10 or 5 piece of sheets of paper at the end of your notebook, you can write the word and its translation. Other teachers can ask them to make a Pictionary, to write the word and stick a picture next to it. Other teacher who wants to develop their learners level and want their learners to be more advanced, ask the learners to write the word and a sentence only under each word. And in other advanced cases, some teachers can ask the learners to choose their favorite topic, for example, school, maybe foods, maybe healthy foods, maybe unhealthy food, and write a paragraph about it. Write a paragraph about the picture describing it. For example, if they put a picture of an elephant, they can write, this is an elephant, it's big, it's gray, it has a long nose, it lives in the jungle. I like the elephant, for example. So again, we can use different techniques, or we can use one method, and all of us, we can use different techniques in using this one idea. Like this notebook, this is this example of the notebook. One of us can ask the learners just to write the word and the translation. Another one can ask them to write the word and the sentence. Another one can encourage the learner to use the notebook to write the word and stick a picture to have a Pictionary at the end of the notebook. Another teacher can ask them to write, to stick a picture and choose their favorite picture and write maybe 2 sentences if they are, or 1 sentence if they are grade 1. 2 sentences, for example, if they are grade 2, 3 sentences, and so on. Why using these different techniques? To develop different skills, to develop the writing skill, to develop using the vocabulary, to develop the reading skill, especially if you encourage the learner, if they do something wow or something fantastic, to stand in front of the class and tell their students, their friends or classmates about what they have written about. For example, if they have wrote about the elephant, yes, great, you're excellent. Can you come out here and read what you have learned? So he feels so confident and proud to read the sentences to the whole class. So you hear, you develop the skill of the writing skill, the reading skill, and also they recycled and reused the language in different ways and techniques. Okay, my friends, is it okay till now? And here is lexical notebooks. Also, we can ask them to write the part of the speech. Is it a noun, a verb, an adjective? To write the antonyms. For example, hot, the antonym is cold. To write a sentence, to write a definition, and stick a picture, of course. Okay? So can you mention how many methods till now? Be active, please. You're active and amazing, my dear friends. Can you mention
Many and
the sequence till
more.
now?
Many and more.
Yeah. No, you're more than amazing, wallahi, but be active, please. Can you mention the ways? Lexical notebooks, okay. Just I'll go back with the screen and you just to read the words. Lexical notebooks. Here, what else? Huh?
Venn
Yeah.
diagrams.
Yeah, clients or scales. Okay. What is this? We call it Venn diagram. Okay. What else? Just read. Read.
Charts and tables.
Yeah, charts and tables. Exactly. And here,
Network or cluster diagrams.
Fatura. Very good. What else? Yeah. Yes.
And
Go
word
ahead.
charts.
Word cards, and I love this. I love this. It's not only just sticking a flashcard, but writing the word, sticking a picture, writing the part of the speech, using a synonym, an antonym, a definition, and example sentence. Very good, Mai, you're active. I'll give you a sweet. So here, a summary. Here is a
Virtual
summary of, yeah, sure.
Virtual.
But no, I'll send you a virtual sweet, yes, and some flowers. A bouquet of flowers and bunch of flowers. Okay. You deserve the best, and chocolate, of course, Mai. Charts and tables, lexical notebooks, word cards, clients or skills, network or cluster diagrams, Venn diagrams. And we have previously talked about some ideas like using the dictionary, using bingo, using unscramble examples, using run to the board, and of course, different of techniques. Here is evaluating methods of recording vocabulary. So which of the previous methods do you already use? Do you already use any of the previous kinds of methods? Do you use any of them?
Yes, of
You
course.
send
we
me
did
virtual
use
presents and rewards
yes.
for talking all the time. Yes,
Okay.
okay. Which one do you use already in your classes?
I use the chart.
Yeah.
Sometimes we use the lexical notebook, but not in this way on the board to make a review, to make some sentences, and to
That's great. Yes,
memorize our vocabulary. Yes.
Yeah, okay. Which would you like to try with your class after watching these different methods? Would you like to try any of them?
I'd like to try a Venn diagram and the scales. Of course, they
Yeah.
are all important to be applied in our classes.
Yeah, sure. And you can adapt it according to the level of your students again and their age, of course. Okay.
The kind of each lesson.
Yeah, sure. And using Realia, Miss Samia and her learners created a new way of using the language when she was in a critical situation.